my name is Dr. Anderson Lowe. I am a GL scientist from Earth and the Milky Way galaxy. Right now, I'm going to be talking about how the Earth was formed. Originally, the Earth was just a big rock or meteorite. As more rocks came to it, it got a greater mass. And the greater the mass is, the greater the gravity pull is. And as this was happening, the Earth just became a big ball of fire. And people were wondering, how in the world did water get there? Well, water got here when meteorites were hitting it. The meteorites had little droplets of water. The meteorites made puddles, the lakes, the rivers, the ponds, the ocean, which is pretty cool. Now, let's get specific more into the Earth. The Earth has 4 layers: the crust, the mantle, the outer core, and the inner core. First, we'll talk about the crust, which is the most important one to us. The crust is where we get all our minerals and materials from, but it is the smallest. Next is the mantle. The mantle is the biggest one and it is hotter than the crust. Next is the outer core. The outer core is smaller than the mantle, but it is hotter than the mantle. Finally is the inner core. The inner core is the smallest one, but it is made out of magma and iron, and it is the hottest one out of all of them. Now, let's talk more about Earth's surface and how it can be changed and not just be like flat grass and trees. Well, you see, the Earth is made out of 2 parts that we call tectonic plates. And this could change the Earth's surface like this. One tectonic plate and the other tectonic plate hit each other and make a mountain. Or one tectonic plate and another tectonic plate hit each other, but one goes down to a magma chain and the other makes a mountain. The magma will come up to make lava and that's that. Another one is called an earthquake. The earthquake gets formed like this. One tectonic plate, another tectonic plate. Ready? There it goes. Yeah, they go like this. That can create an earthquake. Next would be when they just separate from each other. Now, that's what we could talk about the Earth. Now let's talk about more other things. I want to talk about the rock cycle. The rock cycle first begins with weathering, the breakdown of rocks, then erosion, the movement of sediments, then deposition, the deposit of sediments. Then there is compaction. Well, deposition is pretty much when they just deposit into a delta. Now there is compaction. Compaction is when all those minerals and rocks compact to each other, And then there's sedimentation. Sedimentation is when all those compact minerals harden to make a rock. Now we're going to talk about something else. I'm going to talk about force and motion. Force and motion is kind of like this. If I kick a soccer ball, generally, that's like low force, it'll move very, very slowly and won't get that much far. But if I kick a soccer ball hard, it will have a great amount of force and a great amount of motion. Now, let's talk about something different. We're going to talk about mass and volume. Mass is pretty much something that we could weigh, that is just like weight, but we measure with grams. And then volume is how much space something takes. So my hand has mass, and anything that has mass and volume, everything has mass and volume. Now I'm going to talk about how we can change matter and what is matter, and what is matter. Well, matter is mass and volume. So pretty much what I was explaining about mass and volume is exactly what matter is. But how can we change it? If I had a sandwich and I cut it in half, the mass and the volume would change. It takes up lesser space than it originally did, and it has a less amount of mass. Less amount of mass. Now, after we've gone through all of that, I'm going to be talking about the metric system. The metric system is pretty much like our 10 number system, but it's different. We use it to measure with metric, liters, and grams. And I'm going to list them from the smallest, the least amount to the greatest amount. So here we go. Milli is 1,000, centi is 100, deci is 10, deca is a whole, you say, hecto is 10, and kilo is 1,000. That is all we have for your scientific facts. If you want more information, go to scientific clocks at google.org. Bye.